since it's me and you see my logo out on top of the right hand corner or top right hand corner, there, there. You know, this is Angel in the Afternoon. I don't know what kind of intro was that, but I just made it up out of whole cloth. So I hope you guys are have a happy new year or had a happy new year. Happy New Year. Hope your 2024 is better than your 2023, even though 2024 is setting up to be an absolute shit show. So, yeah. So today, my guest should be here any minute. Actually, he's here right now. This is Alex Wright. And we will be discussing, current events. And then towards the end of the stream, we'll be discussing the New York Yankees, of course, signing Marcus Stroman. So that's towards the end, though. For now, we'll just welcome him to the show. Here he is here. Here he is here. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? What's going on?
What's up?
Happy New Year.
Thanks, you too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I literally just got on, so it was like, oh, okay. Looking good, looking good. Everything is good. There's no echoes. Great. Let's do this.
Oh.
So, as we all know, there's current is a lot of shit going down this year. And the year just barely started, it's like a few weeks, like 2 weeks ago was just 2023. And the United States, of course, is doing shit, like they're not supposed to be doing, but who's gonna stop them? So it's like the United States yesterday just invaded Yemen with the
Well, they
UK.
bombed Yemen.
Oh yeah, bomb. Yeah. And it's more the same. Like, thank you for joining us in the chat. We had Warren and Miguel and Golden Monarch, and think these are from before the stream actually started. But yeah, I mean, they bombed Yemen with the UK. I, for the life of me, can't understand why. I mean, it's
Come
like,
on, you know why? That's what they do.
well, I know why, but there's no legitimate excuse or reason.
No,
Like
they're
the U.S. is like, oh, yeah, I mean, we had to bomb them. I mean, oh, they're actually helping Hamas and the Palestinians. Well, we have to bomb the
especially
shit out
when
of
you look
them.
at
But
Joe Biden when he tweeted, what was it, January 6th of 2020 or whatever it was, whatever date it was, when he said
yeah.
Trump has no order or legal order to bomb, countries, all that stuff. Yet look what he's doing. So
Yeah, I mean, he fucking just like lambasted Trump. Like, oh yeah, how dare he? I think right around that time he killed Soleimani. I think around that time, if I remember correctly. So, which is why he virtue signaled and tweeted like, "Oh, we can't bomb anywhere without congressional approval," and everybody went back to that tweet and started retweeting it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I posted a reaction posting the
like
Jimmy Dore laughing pic.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm like, wait, but you just said before you're running, like, oh no, you can't bomb without congressional approval. Oh, I'm president now. Let's bomb the shit out of the Middle East and bomb him back to the Stone Age. Yeah. What? I'm president now, right? It's the rules. Different rules apply. That's basically what he's. That's what he's saying there. And I am, like, really. I mean, at this point, it's just like he's gonna do it, and then it'll get worse because other countries will get involved because other countries want to defend Yemen and the Houthi rebels, and
of course you got Umaga, defending the U.S. or by proving the bombings and all that stuff. You got them defending him for it.
Who?
The Blue Maga, his supporters.
Oh yeah. Of course. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, they will always defend them.
Yeah, but
like,
what's crazy is that Biden was already losing badly to Trump in the polls, and it's going to go down even further. And unless I don't know something crazy happens, there's no way he's beating Trump. No way.
No. I mean, no, there's no chance. I'm sorry. Just my girlfriend's texting me, and I like. But anyways, yeah. I mean, there's no way that he's going to beat Trump, and the only way that happens if Trump, for some reason, ends up deleting himself or something like that. I can't use the word because I'm on YouTube and we'll get in trouble. But
they
I'll
can
get in
take him
trouble.
out the states or the ballots however many times they want. It's only going to make him more popular.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Like taking him off the ballot is like, hey guys, we could take him off the ballot. Everything will be fine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it turns out that we're not allowed to actually do that. Like some of the states started backpedaling. I think Colorado put him back on the ballot, and
I think they did. But then I think I heard maybe there was a appeal or something like that.
Trump appealed the Colorado Supreme Court ruling to the Supreme Court, to the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington. So they decided to take up the case, but apparently, unless I'm misunderstanding it, they put him back on the ballot, like right after
I'm not
that.
sure if that really happened or not. I'm not 100% sure.
I did. They did. Trump did appeal it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's going to hear it at some point.
Yeah.
Hear arguments, but yeah, but I had a lawyer follows me on Twitter, and he was telling me how unconstitutional this is and how ridiculous this is, and I'm like, "Can you come on the show?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I could, but I'm really busy." I understand he's a lawyer, So, but yeah, because I'm gonna get him on at some point. I gotta, like push him. Like, hey, you can come on, man. The ruling's coming soon from the Supreme Court, so I want to get him on, to get his take on it. But I digress. Let's see. South Africa is taking Israel to court, the International Criminal Court, for their genocide that they're doing to the Palestinians. I'm sure you heard about this. I mean,
and of course, John Fetterman made that ridiculous statement. You've seen that video, right?
Yeah, I saw it, but I don't remember what he said exactly.
Yeah, he was like he was saying something like kick him out or something like that, or whatever. I don't remember exactly what he said there. You can find it on X, but I still call it Twitter. But you can find.
Oh, I still call it Twitter too.
Yeah, you can just search John Fetterman.
Yeah, I got it here. I can play it real quick.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, that one.
Yep. Let's do that. This is so small. I hate Twitter. How small it is, or X, or whatever you want to call it. No, let me make that a little bit smaller. All right, there we go. John Fetterman calls out South Africa for the genocide of white farmers. What? That makes no sense.
That's not what's happening.
That's not what happened, isn't it? I mean, I know about the apartheid government. It was the white
South
people
Africa's doing is, if I'm correct, they're trying to, what is it, like investigate what Israel's doing, or that's. But he's acting like it's something different.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's like, but that's not even a point.
So if you play the clip in the audio,
I can play this, but I'm like, that's not even the point. I mean, the point is they're investigating Israel for war crimes, or they're taking him to court over war crimes. And John Fetterman, oh yeah, by the way, South African government, they do genocide against white farmers. Like nothing to do with anything. He just he's like, let's play this real quick.
He's paid by APAC.
Yeah. All right,
who are we really fighting? It's a group of cowards. They hide in tunnels. They hide behind civilians. They attack, kill, and mutilate children, women, and they do that. Stop talking about proportion on that. They shot their best shot on October 7th, and they would have taken more lives if they couldn't do that, but they couldn't do it. And now let's also talk about that. Now we're talking about genocide. And now South Africa is bringing that kind of a trial. Maybe South Africa ought to sit this one out when they're talking about criticizing. Sit it out.
I mean,
who are we?
The stroke.
The fuck up.
I can't even understand what he said there half the time because I don't know what's going on with him. Was it the stroke? Again, I feel, I'm sorry he had the stroke, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah, and it's great to see all the other progressives who support him. They now realize how much of a fraud he is, but we all saw it coming. After experiencing AOC, Jamal Bowman, Ro Khanna, the rest of them.
Yeah, I did. I mean, how could you not? Unless your money depends on it. Like if Fetterman being this new star.
Yeah.
Like we know who we're talking about.
Get rid of his sweatshirt and his or his hoodie and get rid of his shorts, because I mean he's not fighting for the good guys. He's just like the rest of them. Just put a suit on. Just be real with yourself already.
Yeah, and there's legendary hypocrisy here with the suit thing, because I'm sure you know about how most of these lefties on YouTube, when Fetterman was on their side and on the left side, initially they were like, oh, he can wear whatever he wants, he could do this, he can wear hoodies and whatever, shorts and stuff. Now all of a sudden that he's did the heel turn and now everybody knows who he really is. Oh, why doesn't he wear a suit? And and he had the stroke, he shouldn't be in office, blah blah blah. It's like we all know who we're talking about, particularly Al Kalinske. Like he's the one I really like. That was like, what the fuck, dude? You said the exact opposite 6 months ago.
Yeah. Well, remember, Democrats are a trillion times better than Republicans. Let's not forget about
that's another thing that Kalinske was quoted as saying, hello, Dr. Nick Riviera. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us here in the stream. I'm not progressive. I just found that to be so hilarious and ridiculous. Like, dude, we all know. We know. Like, I knew. I mean, and I'm not like this, like brilliant. I'm not this brilliant, commentator, but I figured it out.
Yeah.
Like Fetterman, especially when he got like the AIPAC money, and he sent his Israel policy to AIPAC, and they wrote it for him. And it's like, okay, I'll say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But at the time, we all know. I mean, Kyle and his wife defended him. Is like, no, but that's just Israel. The rest of he's good with the rest of the policies, so it's okay. No, it's not. I mean, so this is like the infamous video from 3 weeks ago when Kyle was like, then he starts talking about the stroke and how you should wear a suit. It was this video, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna watch the whole thing, but just it's 10 minutes long. But I just
John Fetterman has now completed his villain arc. It all started when, on the issue of Israel, he slowly came out of the closet as absolutely sucking balls. Well, now he's gone full circle here. So look at this. By the way, I love this headline. It was written by John Fetterman himself. Quote, I'm not a progressive. Fetterman breaks with the left, showing a maverick side. So it's a maverick side to break with the left. The left is like, what, 5% of the Democratic Party in D.C.? And somehow it's a maverick side to be with the 95% of corporate centrist hacks?
Yes, it is, because he was assumed to be a progressive. Turns out he wasn't, but he was assumed to be a progressive. Now that he isn't, the media calls him a maverick, which was John McCain's old nickname when he was alive. Yeah. So now they put it on Fetterman. Like, he's the maverick now. He turned his back against the online left, who loved him just 6 months ago. Or a year ago when he was running against Dr. Oz.
Yeah. And, remember a few months ago when someone who voted for him, I don't remember his name, he came up to John and asked him about, the genocide in Israel and all that. I'm sure you've seen the clip. He was trying to ask him. But then one of his staffs, kind of grabbed him and got him out of there. He didn't want, you've seen that video, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. It was,
like Dr. Oz, I mean, I'm not, I wouldn't vote for him either. I'm not saying, any better or worse or anything, but I mean, like, at least Dr. Oz, I don't think he would have done that. I think he would have explained, I understand your concern and all of that, but here's why I disagree, at least he would have done that, he would.
I'm amazed how, I mean, when he had the stroke, I thought he's done. I mean, how can anybody vote for Fetterman? I mean, yes, I mean, all of a sudden I got called an ableist. It's like, well, how dare you? by these people, these type of lefties. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're an ableist, because he couldn't understand you if you spoke. The only way he could understand it, he read it on the computer screen. Like he had a computer screen which he would read like the caption. That's why he would talk to him. I'm like, no, you can't be a senator like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had the stroke. It's horrible, but it can't work. And now all of a sudden, this prick here is running his mouth about the stroke. Like, you shouldn't have been elected. We shouldn't have voted for him. I told you that 6 months ago. Where were you?
Yeah, like you supported him. I mean, what are you talking about?
They're so blatant about their partisan hackery because he's like, well, I mean, at the time he thought he was a real progressive. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's okay. It doesn't matter. He had the stroke. He'll vote with us no matter what. Now it's like, oh shit, it turns out he's a maverick and he won't vote for us.
Like, how do you not learn from AOC and Jamal Bowman and Ro Khanna, all these other people? How have you still not learned?
What's up, Bryce? Thanks for coming on. I'm glad you joined us today. And yeah, it's money. I mean, I guarantee you. Can I move this over here? Oh no, well. Yeah, I mean, it's money. I mean, and because Kyle makes his money off pushing the Democratic Party and pushing progressives. There's going to be another progressive coming up. I guarantee you. I'm not sure who yet. I can't tell you what name, who the progressive will be, but there'll be a next darling of. To be fair, probably Marianne Williamson, but even then, she's about to lose anyway. So
yeah,
but it's going to be somebody else.
Like Kyle and Crystal, and even the Vanguard. They still support Marianne, even though she's a Zionist.
She's a Zionist.
Yeah.
She's a Zionist. This one, him and his wife in particular, are melting down about how horrible Biden is, and he's a Zionist, and he's killing all these people in Gaza. And I mean, not him, but Israel. She's killing all these people in Gaza, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, you support a Zionist, and Marianne Williamson. I guarantee you, these two will backpedal and support Biden as soon as he wins the primary. He already won the primary, but as soon as the convention comes up, it's like, you got to vote for Biden, guys. Orange man, Orange man can't be president again. I'm like, come on, dude. But yeah, it's just and look at how smug his face is there. It's like he's so smug.
God, it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. He's being a maverick by standing with Israel, the thing that 90% of Congress does. That's not maverick. That's the opposite of maverick. That's the conventional wisdom. Oh, I hate these people. Oh, I hate them so much. Senator John Fetterman has drawn fire from progressives over his fierce support for Israel and broken with immigration advocates with his support for curtailing migration.
That's another thing. He's angry about immigration. All of a sudden, now he's like a Trumper when it comes to immigration, which then makes him very angry because I mean, they don't want to acknowledge the migrant crisis. They don't want to acknowledge that because it's like it's inconvenient towards the narrative. Like I forgot kind of what I was going to say. Like all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm sure you've seen a clip where AOC said, well, I mean, the answer is giving everybody green cards.
Green cards?
Yeah. As soon as they cross the border, green card.
I think I may have seen. I don't know. It's not really fresh in my memory, but
that was recent. It's
recent.
Like,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I might have retweeted it, but I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, it was like
again.
It was like, well, give them all green cards. No criminal, no background checks, no names.
Actually, I think I remember her saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, no background checks because we don't know who's coming in. I mean, it's like there no paperwork, just here. Like, you're legal now. You're able to work. I'm like, but I mean, I would like to. We can't keep everybody. I mean, I don't want. If people say, I might sound like a Trumper sometimes, but we can't, keep all these people, and they're still coming.
Yeah.
What they're doing is the governors of Texas and Florida are just sending them to New York, Chicago, L.A., some parts of New Jersey, because I've seen, up there closer to New York, like Secaucus and Newark, they're actually showing up here and then taking the train to the city, which like, oh, they're not staying here. But, but I'm pretty sure since New Jersey is a sanctuary state, because we had the virtue signal when Trump was president, I'm pretty sure that a lot of them start staying here now. So it's like, oh, great, here we go with that. But they're not staying here yet, but they will. But that's another thing that Kyle's really upset about, that he's a Trumper immigration. I was like, even though he's mostly right. I mean, I hate to admit it, but we can't have all these people here, in the United States.
Yeah.
So I'll play a little bit more of this. I won't go much longer.
Senator John Fetterman is breaking with progressives on hot-button issues with his fiery support for Israel and calls for Democrats to engage on tougher immigration laws, disappointing some on the left as he shows an independent streak. He's also continually scolding Democrats for not pushing Menendez out of office after he was indicted on federal charges.
By the way, I'm embarrassed to admit Bob Menendez is from New Jersey, so he's my senator. But he's one of my senators. He's a senior senator from New Jersey. He's like, come on, dude. I mean, his corruption is so ridiculous. It's like Wile E. Coyote type, or what's the guy with the red thing, whatever. I mean, he's corrupt. He's ridiculously corrupt. Like, he has gold. He has gold bars in his house. I'm like, who keeps gold bars in their house? I mean, from Egypt. I mean, it's like, he got indicted in 2015. It's not the first time this has happened, and he got away with it in 2015, and now they're indicting him again. It's like, dude, just take your money and resign. I mean, I'm sure they won't put you in prison. Just resign. Of course, he's not resigning. I'm not resigning. I'm running for re-election. It's like, come on, dude. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he won. I wouldn't be surprised if he won because incumbent senator is almost impossible to beat. I mean, just even though they all he's definitely most likely a criminal, allegedly. I mean, I don't want to say that he is, but
federal charges of taking bribes and acting as a foreign agent for Egypt, which the New Jersey Democrats. So on this one, I agree with him. I do think that Menendez should be gone.
Oh wow, you agree with him? That's shocking. Kyle just admitted he agreed with him on that. I thought he was a heel turn. He was a full blown heel now. Apparently not. Like, oh yeah, I agree with him on that. Menendez should go to prison or whatever. Come on, it's like he can't. He still has to agree with one. There's nothing wrong with that. Hold on, nothing wrong with that. But he's acting like Fetterman is like worse than the devil or something for doing this.
I do think he should be gone. I think it's a joke. He was corrupt. He was even more corrupt than your average corrupt politician, and they're almost all corrupt. But I will also say this: careful what you wish for, Fetterman, because you are also corrupt. It's just in a slightly different way. Yes, you didn't take luxury cars or have gold bars in your pocket. True, but you literally had AIPAC write your position on Israel. You drafted something up, you sent it to them, they made corrections to it, they sent it back to you, and you said, fine, I'll sign up for it. Just stay out of my race, don't endorse my opponent, and if anything, give me money. So
you know what that's called, Kyle? Politics. Politics. That's what that's called. I mean, he doesn't want Israel to donate money to his primary opponent or Dr. Oz, which is why he was like, okay, I'll say whatever you want. Please, just don't give money to any of my opponents. I don't give a shit. It's like I want to just be a senator. And a lot of politicians are like that. It's not just it's not like they are principled. You don't run for office to be principled. You run for office for power, fame, and money. Yeah. And maybe be president one day. That's what you run for office for, especially in national office, like senator or congressman, You don't run because you actually care. Nobody in Washington gives a shit. Not even Bernie Sanders, who, it pains me to say it because I was a big Bernie supporter just in 2016. I mean,
same here.
You couldn't tell me, Bernie was like God to me. You couldn't tell me he did anything wrong. I mean, people told me, but it was like, I would get into like these angry Twitter wars with people over Bernie, and it was like, and looking back, I'm embarrassed. Like, what the hell was I thinking?
And it happened with me with Tulsi Gabbard. I was a huge fan of her in 2015.
I remember. I think
president.
You supported her in 20, right?
Sorry, what?
You supported her in 2020, right?
Yeah, for 2020.
I remember. I remember because you would tweet about it too.
Big disappointment.
I mean, they're politicians. Yeah. Now all of a sudden she's a conservative and on Fox. Again, there's nothing wrong. I don't care, but do what you want to do. She won't go on the Jimmy
Dore show anymore. She won't go on Convo Couch anymore. She won't go on all those independent shows anymore. It's just Fox News. It's like you're proving those people pouring like, oh, you're working for Fox News now. It's.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought she was a contributor for Fox.
Well, I mean, contributor. Well, she hosted some episodes from the Tucker Carlson show.
Yeah, she did. She hosted. I actually watched one of them, and it was like, actually, she's not bad at presenting the news, but at the same time, it's like, Yeah, I mean, I only watched a few minutes of it. You know, it was like I was curious because like, oh wow, Tulsi shooting for Tucker Carlson.
Mm-hmm.
So he acted like a whore for the Israel
A
lobby.
whore.
Cenk
A
Uygur.
whore. Yeah, that's exactly
Like a
what it was.
whore.
Yeah, I mean, like that's where he got that from, and the cadence is the same. A whore, you know, like he's been sucking up to Jank again lately. So
Yeah. Did it? And TYT fired
Yeah.
Kyle after him and
Jimmy Dore.
Yeah.
Jimmy
And
Dore
yet
Grey
he's
Zone
still
thing.
like he wants
Banana.
to be part. Like, what are you doing? You're done
Yeah,
with you.
He's been sucking up to Jank. Jank went on Crystal Kyle and Friends recently, so it was like he's forgiving Kyle, I guess now. I mean, so they're all friends again. You know, he's forgiven him, even though it took a lot of sucking up and a lot of ass kissing videos. I mean, you go back to his channel and put Cenk Uygur in his channel. There's like at least 5 or 6 of them sucking up to him, talking about, oh well, what a great point Cenk made, and this, that, and the third. Oh, Cenk's running for president. Yeah, Cenk's running for president. Oh, great. Let me talk about this and let me promote his campaign, even though he can't run for president. He can't be president legally. But yeah, let me pretend that's an open question, even though it really isn't. You know, he's been sucking up to Cenk like it's gross.
Lobby and did their bidding for money. Somehow that's okay, but Bob
in power.
Menendez going a step further with the personal bribes. That's that one. No, I think both are a problem. Yes, Menendez is worse because yours is the institutional corruption, but I'm also against the institutional corruption, and you're not. In the 2022 campaign, Fetterman's ties to Bernie Sanders prompted GOP opponent Mehmet Oz to tell voters he'd be a mere sidekick for the Democratic Socialists. But Fetterman's recent stances point to an unorthodox brand of blue-collar liberalism with a dash of outsider populism in a purple state that is expected to be hotly contested again in the 2024 election. But look, here's the thing. This is the problem with what he's doing here. How do you know that his quote-unquote blue-collar liberalism or outsider populism, how do you know that's going to stay? How do you know he's still going to be like, you know, even good on union stuff or raising the minimum wage? If he totally flips it.
Yes, we could have told you that. I mean, this guy's been on YouTube over 10 years and covering politics.
Yeah.
And somehow he doesn't know this, or he pretends not to know this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd. You know, it's like he's actually this naive or he's pretending to be, so his audience
Maybe if he dyed his hair back to black, he would or brown, he would, you know, smarten up again.
I mean, I don't understand that either. It's like, what is it with?
Yeah.
Like he looks so ridiculous, like the bleach blonde hair and his brown beard. Like if he shaved, he probably would look okay. You know, but I'm like, I'm not a
Kind of looks like Hollywood Hulk Hogan from. You know,
I mean, but at least Hogan made it look cool. You know, yes, he looked kind of ridiculous when you think about it, but he made it look cool. You know, because the way he dressed and his character, he made it look cool at least. But Tyler doesn't make it look cool. He looks like a soccer mom. You know, like he's going and taking the kid. He's probably taking Crystal kids to practice. How much you want to bet he is? While Crystal works, you know, he's the one taking them to practice.
Yeah,
her children, because not even his children, they're her children, you know, from a previous marriage. But I digress. You know that he wants to be a father figure to kids that aren't his. God bless. I mean, but I wouldn't do it.
Flips his position on something, which he did, immigration. We'll get to that in a second. If he totally flips his position on that, then how do we know he's not going to totally flip his position on the minimum wage or on unions or on money in politics or on any of it?
He already flipped.
We do have to effectively.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I mean, 2 weeks ago, this video, but yeah, I mean, he.
But before this video, he already flipped on those issues.
And yeah, Kyle missed it. I mean, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, he's a lazy commentator. You know, he doesn't even bother doing basic research most of the time.
We address it as well. So he goes on to, it's a reasonable conversation until somebody can say there's an explanation on what we can do when 270,000 people are being encountered on the border, not including the ones, of course, that we don't know about. To put that in reference, that is essentially the size of a large city. So in other words, look, he's fear-mongering about immigration. He says, It's
not fear-mongering. It's 270,000 people coming over the border. That's like the size of a city. He's right. I mean, that's a major problem, you know, and you have 270,000 people walking in. With no paperwork, they all want to file for asylum, but again, I mean, do you imagine the disaster that is? Everybody filing for asylum, and then they're being released into the United States, and it takes years before they get a hearing, which because not enough judges, not enough anybody, to hear these cases, and to hire attorneys because they need to have attorneys because they have right to lawyers and stuff here in the U.S. But yeah, I mean, let's see. Dr. Nick Riviera says father figure more like an older disabled brother. Yeah, I mean, you said it, I didn't, but yeah, I mean, ableist. But yeah, I mean, seriously, that's pretty funny. Let's see. Behind the scenes, I'm sure Jenk and Kyle talked in private before going on. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And Kyle bent the knee because Jenk isn't going. He's not going to bend the knee. He's like Jenk. He's Trump. Like that's who he is. He has that type of personality. He's not going to bend the knee to anybody. So most likely Kyle bent the knee and apologized in person, and Jenk was like, "Okay, I forgive you. Let's do the show." And because for years Jenk hated Kyle, he wouldn't even mention him, and he's like, "Well, Kyle's going a different direction, guys, and we can, basically, he's on Jimmy Dore's side, and there's nothing we can do about it. We wish him luck." And then later he called him names on the Young Turks, So he bent the knee to Jenk. And Jenk is like these fake New Jersey tough guys. I've come across a lot of these guys. Like they're fake tough guys. Like Trump, something like that. And meanwhile, they just when you actually confront them, they run and hide. But but I digress. That I'm just rambling now. Let's keep.
I'm not a progressive. I'm right wing on Israel, and I'm not on the left on immigration. I think.
Oh, man, just ignore that for a second. But yeah,
that's why I install AdBlock Plus.
Yeah, I had it on, but it was starting to give me issues on my computer, so I took it off. So I'm probably gonna put it back on soon. What is this? Oh, this is Kyle, trying to hypocrisy burn John Fetterman. This is the ad he ran before becoming senator.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was pro-immigration.
Here's John Fetterman when he was running.
I'm proud of my wife Giselle's origin story, and I'm so grateful for the sacrifices that her mother made all those years ago to come to this country looking for a better life. Because if they didn't, I wouldn't have the incredible family that I have now.
You get the point, hypocrisy burn, doesn't matter. Because at this point, he says it, I think here or something. Progressive rhetoric is great.
Rhetoric is great. Progressive results are 100%. They're better. We have started a progressive movement here.
Still hypocrisy burning him. Still hypocrisy burning.
This is why young people get turned off to politics. This is why it's like pulling teeth to get young people to vote sometimes. Because you're promised one thing, you're sold one package, and then the package totally changed. Now, to be fair, he's always been bad on Israel. He's just gotten worse on it, but there were the seeds were there.
He knew that. Yeah. And he still supported him like he was, this is before the war in Israel, though. This is before the bombings and stuff. So he was okay with it. It didn't matter because ultimately he's like, yeah, I mean, there's no war, so I don't have to virtue signal about it. Now all of a sudden there's a war and he's virtue signaling like, oh, but it's horrible, guys. I mean, the war and stuff. And it's like, please vote for. Now he's turning around and like Fetterman and Biden and stuff, biggest pieces of shit on the planet, even though he supported both of them. Yeah. I think you tweeted out the crystal ball book thing.
Yeah, the quotes.
You sent it to me.
Sorry, what?
You sent it to me, or you responded?
Well, no, I responded to Crystal with that quote. Are you talking about yesterday when I?
Yeah,
it was responding to Crystal when she said, Biden's a liar and a criminal and stuff. But I posted that quote back in 2017 where she freaking loved Joe Biden from her.
Yeah,
book.
She wrote the book.
Yeah,
she wrote the book, and I forgot about that book until you retweeted it. Like, oh yeah,
you can bring that that response up if you want.
Yeah. Well, just hold on. All right, here we go. I tweeted this out because this is from earlier.
Yeah.
Here's crystal ball and the shocking media bias of Western press. Blah, 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 blah. I put Joe Biden. Crystal ball damn well knew that Joe Biden is a Zionist and racist. She and her boy toy husband still supported him and demanded the audience vote for Biden. So yeah, I mean, she knew this. I don't know why. Yeah, people giving her credit for this, and I'm not, because she knew.
Yeah, I remember I posted that clip of Kyle Kowinski a long time ago, saying, "Oh yeah, that's the other tweet I made."
Oh yeah, this one
where Kyle Kowinski said years ago that Crystal Ball was so stupid. From
that was hilarious and irony, because this man ended up. I retweeted it. I'm trying to find it. I think it was yesterday. Oh, here's the tweet. As president, I will use military power responsibly and as a last resort. We would not go back to whatever wars in the Middle East. That's not the one exact one, I think, but that's another one the people are going back to. Where is it? Oh, here it is.
There's so many of them.
Here
it
is.
There it is.
Yeah, this Biden claims he cares about civilians while expediting the 2,000-pound bombs that murdered them. He claims that he doesn't want a war while illegally bombing Yemen. A liar and a criminal.
When did he ever say he doesn't want a war? When did he ever say that?
He's always been pro-war, Zionist, and a racist. Oh wait, nothing's ever changed from that.
Yeah,
nothing. He's been in the Senate since 1972.
Yeah,
I was born in 86, so we're talking about he's been there longer than I've been alive. He was in Washington, and he's the one that said, "I don't want my kids growing up in a racial jungle." He was against desegregation of busing. He wrote the crime bill.
Called Obama the first great intellect African American or something like that, or whatever.
Intellectual African American, like he, even when he was Obama's vice president, he was like super racist. Like that was a racist. Oh yeah, he's an articulate, smart black man.
Yeah.
Oh what? I was racist. Oh, I didn't know. Sorry. Like people were like come on, man. Is Obama like, oh, come on, Joe? I mean, you know how racist
he still won't stop getting into little girls' faces and all that.
Oh, that's
stuff.
creepy. The one recently that was up today. Like, oh god.
Yeah, that's the one I retweeted. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too. This is from Crystal Ball's book, Reversing the Apocalypse, 2017. So this is after she left them or got fired from MSNBC, and before she did The Hill, I think, Rising.
Yeah.
So she wrote this book. She needed to make money somehow, so she wrote this book. So the paragraph reads, it's the first one. I freaking love Joe Biden. That's it. That's all you need to know about her. I don't need to read the rest of this, but I freaking love Joe Biden. I love the way he's willing to resurface his grief over his deep personal loss if it can help a room full of Gold Star mothers begin to heal. Okay, that one, his son, I think Beau Biden, died of brain cancer, which, it's terrible. It's a tragedy. I'm not saying that, I feel bad about that. But at the same time, it's like he uses it all the time for naked political gain. He's it's not like he's just used it to help Gold Star mothers begin to heal. He's used it for naked political reasons. Like, hey, don't go too much. I lost my son. I mean, hey, come on, man. I mean, you can't do that. But he doesn't stop him. I love that even after 40 years in Washington, he still manages to connect with that uniquely American visceral pain over losing the family home. I love that he and President Obama clearly love each other so much. No, I don't think they loved each other, Crystal. I think they could stand each other. They could stand each other. It's like they can work together, have lunch, whatever. But they're not. There's no man crush between Obama and Biden. In fact, Biden might have disliked Obama a little bit because he wanted to be president. So like, it's like love each other so much. I thought and still believe in all the ways Hillary Clinton was a poor fit for the moment, economic fear and anxiety. Biden was a great choice, not Bernie Sanders. Not Bernie Sanders.
A great choice.
Not Bernie Sanders. This is around the time Bernie was running.
He never said Bernie.
She said Biden was the great choice.
Yeah.
In 2017, at least. Ways Hillary Clinton, Biden's excellent choice. It's funny because he was the vice president and he had been in the Senate since he was 29 years old. But even over all that time, he's managed to connect When we learned that Bo urged his father to make a run for the White House on Biden values, we all knew exactly what that meant. Crystal ball reversing the
Oh,
apocalypse.
you knew, huh? You knew what that meant.
Yeah, she knew. She knew.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She's such a fraud. She knew.
Yeah.
She loved. She's this paragraph. This entire book was written from the perspective of a Democrat, which is why she says Biden was a great choice and Hillary wasn't. By the way, her monologue on Hillary when she was on MSNBC probably got her fired because like 6 weeks later her show was canceled after that monologue she did. I'm not sure you've seen her monologue or anti-Hillary monologues, but on MSNBC. But
yeah,
I
the
don't
only
think
one I've really seen is that clip I discussed. The Ukraine clip. That prank call. That's the only one I've really seen.
the prank call when she was on MSNBC. That's when Kyle called her really stupid. Or, when he covered that at the time. And Crystal Ball is so stupid, man. She knows she's so stupid.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna go marry her years later.
Like, oh shit! It turns out 10 years later she's gonna be my wife, and I'm going to gladly do whatever she asked me to do. Oh, well, yeah, she maybe not that stupid after all. Yeah, I mean, it's so absurd. I mean, it's like I wonder if Crystal ever brought that up with him. Maybe she never seen it. I don't know. But I'm sure she did because people had to tweeted that to her as soon as they announced their relationship. They had to. There's no way that she didn't see the clip.
Yeah.
Marcus Stroman blocked my ass. We'll get to that in a minute, but where is it? The Creepy Joe one.
Yeah,
the most recent example. I
saw you pass it earlier.
I did. Oh yeah, this is today's tweets. Hold on.
I think if you go up a bit, I think you go up a bit more. Yeah, you have to go. Because I posted like a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I quote tweeted it. I can't find. Oh, here it is. You quote tweeted it.
Yeah.
So that's like 10 seconds. But by the way, I need to do a warning. This is very creepy, and if you are revolted by this, you shouldn't watch. But here's Joe Biden being another example of Creepy Joe creeping on some little girl.
Do you have confidence in Secretary Austin?
I do. I'm sorry.
Was it a lapse in judgment for him not to tell you earlier?
Look at her.
Yes.
Look at her.
That girl,
right there.
Get away from me.
Right there. He's like, get away from me. Look at her face.
And he's saying, I'm sorry. And what else is he saying during that point?
I think he said, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Was it a lapse in judgment for him not to tell you earlier?
Yes.
Secretary Austin?
I do. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Was it a lapse in judgment for him not to tell you?
I do. I'm sorry. What are you doing? That's what it sounded like he said. Look at her face. Like, what is this old man doing?
He won't stop.
No, it goes back.
That's why I made that tweet. Put a cone over his head. He
won't stop.
Jesus.
It's like this is the most recent. This is from RNC Research. Do you have confidence, Secretary Austin? No, that was the question he was asked. I do. Was it a lapse of judgment for you not to tell you earlier? Yes. But at the same time, he's answering questions and creeping on some little girl for no reason. Look at it. I can't believe he.
If Trump was doing that, the mainstream media would be all over it.
Yeah. He's a child molester. He's trying to, or I shouldn't probably say that because fucking YouTube. But yeah, I mean, he's inappropriate with kids, etc. But since it was Biden, nope, nothing. No. We don't actually see anything, guys. Joe Biden's good. He's a good man, and he's a good man that cares about Americans, even though he couldn't give zero fucks. But nonetheless, it's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is our president. That's our president. That's the man who was allegedly elected president. So,
but people want to say Trump is the evil guy. He's the worst person ever on earth, or whatever they say. It's like, no. I mean, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but compared to Biden, he's Biden's worse.
Oh, no doubt. And even who was it who said it? Somebody said it today, and it's like, oh yeah, even this person saying Biden's worse. I mean, it's like, come on, man. Everybody knows this at this point.
Yeah.
Everybody, at least everybody in this space, should know this already. Even though there's some people like, oh, did you see that that Crystal and Kyle interviewed Dean Phillips and how Kyle like got upset at Dean Phillips because he called him a Zionist, not a Zionist, anti-Semitic.
No, I haven't seen it. I don't watch Kyle. And
no, I don't. But I saw it. I don't either. But I saw it on Twitter. You know, slipped out.
I haven't seen it.
Like Kyle got really upset. Like, oh, I'm not an anti-Semitic guy. You have because he thinks Dean Phillips is pretending to care about Palestinians. And you're crocodile tears for the Palestinians, but it's okay for Kyle to call him out like that. But as soon as he gets called out on something, like he had this little girl pouty face, like I swear to, I was like, what? Like, what kind of man are you? I mean, even if you're mad at him, don't do this.
Remember, Bernie Sanders kicked him out of his show when Christopher Ball was interviewing him a couple of years ago. Remember that?
Yes, I mean, that was. But yeah, we need to talk about this. Gonzalo Lira was killed, or not killed, but he died in Ukrainian prison today.
That's the one that they had arrested a few months ago.
Yes, yeah. He was arrested. He's an American journalist. He was arrested in Ukraine for covering, for critically covering the Ukrainian government, and he's been in prison ever since. And he passed away today. He sent a letter to somebody saying that, I forget who, it's another journalist. Oh, I had double pneumonia, and I don't know how much time I have left. So tell my sister I love her, my dad, and stuff. It was sad, but
Russia's the evil one. They're It's Nazi German, right?
This is what pisses me off about that. And now, real quick, the administration did everything they can to release Brittany Griner from Russia. Remember her, the basketball player who got arrested for marijuana possession in Russia? They did everything they could to release her, to the point where they released like one of the worst criminals, that come out of Russia. We had him in our prisons, and in the Merchant of Death, I think his nickname was. They released him and sent him back to Russia in exchange for Brittany Griner. I'm like, why didn't they do everything they could to get him out? But they got out some female basketball player nobody gives a shit about. Unless you're,
and of course, Julian Assange is still in.
That's another thing, yeah.
I don't know how he's still alive.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, we all know that he did it because he did it to virtue signal. When it comes to Brittany Griner, she was black. That's the only reason why he got her out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all Biden is. It's identity politics. Even though he's the racist one.
Yeah, but today it's not cool to be racist. So, which is why now he's like, well, I'm going to virtue signal. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to get her out no matter what it takes, even if it takes giving back one of the worst criminals from Russia, the Merchant of Death. Like it doesn't matter. Let's get him out, get her out, so we can have a positive press and virtue signal about how great we are because we got a black woman out of jail. Oh, by the way, marijuana is still illegal at the federal level in the U.S. So if she would have been caught by the Fed, she'd be in jail anyway. So it was like, this whole thing makes no sense. If they want it, just legalize marijuana at the federal level so we don't have these issues.
Yeah.
Because now, as soon as Trump becomes president again, the feds are going to start cracking down on marijuana again. Unless Trump becomes a progressive all of a sudden. It's like, oh, no, I don't care about marijuana. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Trump's wild card like that. He might do some progressive thing like, oh, no, I don't care about marijuana. I just want to keep abortion illegal. So,
I wonder who he's going to pick for a VP.
That's a good question because I'm right now. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis are his two main opponents right now because Chris Christie fucked off back to the buffet. But yeah, I mean he's gone.
If he chose Nikki Haley, like what the fuck are you doing? Like what's wrong with you?
No, that would be disastrous because it's like he already hired her to be UN secretary.
I mean, I could understand DeSantis, but Nikki Haley.
Yeah, I mean that that's basically making her next in line for the presidency or for the nomination at the very least. So yeah, I don't know whether he would do that unless he was convinced, like, hey, look, I mean, unity ticket you need.
Thomas Massie as VP. I mean, that would boost his numbers up big time.
Yeah, with his base, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether the party establishment would like that too much.
Yeah.
Because that's why they convinced him to pick Mike Pence last time, because it'd be a unity ticket, makes the establishment of the party happy, so that's why he did it. And then he immediately regretted it.
Mike Pence now.
He dropped out immediately, even though because we all knew he'd never be president. Look at him. I mean, he has the charisma of a wet blanket. It's like there's no way he'll be a president. So it was a safe choice by Trump. Makes the party happy. And then makes the party bosses, okay, we like Mike Pence. That's good. At the same time, he raised a bunch of money for him, which is good. And then, he's never going to be president, and he's never going to outshine Trump. So it's like, oh, perfect, trifecta, because Trump doesn't want to be outshined. So it's like, he's just a boring white guy, from Indiana. So it's, oh yeah, let's make him VP. He'll never be president anyway. So, but Nikki Haley, she can be. The media loves her. Like, she's like the media darling right now.
She's the Republican Hillary Clinton. That's who she is.
Yeah, I saw an interview with her. I think I retweeted it or something. Literally said Hillary Clinton is the reason why I'm in politics.
Yeah.
Like, that's her. That's her hero.
Came up with an ad or something. Calling her hypocrite. When she's saying, "I did not say Hillary Clinton inspired me" or whatever she said, but then he shows clips of her praising Hillary and all that stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I can't believe a Republican will openly admit Hillary Clinton's the reason why I'm in politics. She's my hero, or something like that. I'm like, come on.
The one, I not that I would vote for him, but the one who I wish the numbers would go up more. What's that guy? The guy that goes after the media a lot.
Ramaswamy.
Yeah,
Vivek.
Yeah,
Ramaswamy.
He's like the most unique candidate out there. The way he goes after the media, he's not afraid to say what he says. To me, he's more so than Trump.
Yeah, I mean, he's interesting at least. He has some charisma. And he's not afraid to call out the media. I loved, and he completely ran circles around the Young Turks when he went on their show. It was like. He made them look ridiculous. Both Cenk and Anna. It was like, holy crap.
I actually haven't seen that. I would have to watch that.
Yeah, you would. It's like, and he also went on. I think it was Breaking Points a couple of times, and he especially ran circles around Crystal. I mean, it was
he also went on the Jimmy Dore show.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I saw that one. I saw, he was good there too. But that doesn't mean I wrote for him. But it's like, okay, he has some policy that are interesting. He could be Trump's VP. That could
be possible.
I don't know whether he would take it because he's some kind of multi-millionaire. Like,
I don't know if he's ever. I don't know if he's ever really criticized Trump or said anything. I don't know if he's ever done that. So,
as far as I know,
there's been bad blood between him and Trump. So,
like, kind of, he's like. He's he's kind of called him out, but not really. It's like it's kind of like, oh well, he's and people keep saying to him, why are you running against Trump? You never criticize him. And he basically gives the same answer as, well, I mean, if you want Trump but with less baggage, you'll support me. So he's basically Trump without the baggage. That's what he's arguing. That's why he's running.
But he is bad on Israel.
Oh yeah, so is Trump. So
yeah, I know, but I'm just also mentioning, still.
Yeah. So he's all Republicans are bad on Israel.
Mm-hmm. Well, every politician pretty much, except for Thomas Massie.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's bad. I mean, he's the only one. He's a principled, old school conservative, so. Which I respect, it's like, he's one of the few Republicans who are like, I think
he's one of the few sane ones in there. He's not, he may not be great maybe, but he's not awful or horrible.
He is, he's a principled one. He's talking about cutting the budget, cutting social programs. I don't agree with that, but at least he's, there's some principle there with him, and he's consistent on that. And I think either he or somebody else floated that Massey should be Trump's VP. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, and he's like a true libertarian, pretty popular within the Republican Party, or the base at least. So again, that makes the base happy, not the party.
I could also see Trump choosing Marjorie Taylor Greene as his VP.
That's. I don't think the party bosses would even allow that. It's like, no, choose Massey or Ramaswamy or DeSantis. That's fine, but not that bitch. I mean, she's too crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's see. We got anything else?
Marcus Stroman signing.
Oh yeah, but let me make sure. I'll get to that, but let me make sure there's nothing else I wanted to bring up. I don't think so. I mean, I think that's pretty much it at this point. So yeah, let's get to that then, because Marcus Stroman, back when he was with the Mets, friggin' blocked me on Twitter.
Yeah, he blocked a lot of people.
He blocked a lot of Yankee fans.
I think I even mentioned to you at one point. It was after the 2019 season. The guy from WFAN or WFAN, I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But he was listing the guys that he was listing the Mets pitchers he'd rather have over or not to have. He said he tweeted something like, he'd rather have Zach Wheeler for the Mets than Marcus Stroman. And then, somehow Marcus Stroman saw that tweet. He didn't quote him, he didn't, he just mentioned by name, and then somehow Marcus Stroman saw it and he blocked him, and it's just like, you're really that upset about it?
Yeah, I mean and he apparently he blocked a lot of Yankee fans too. It wasn't just me.
Yeah. Hey, he's excited to be a Yankee.
He's always,
and we'll see what happens.
He's always been a huge Yankee fan, but I just don't know why he fucking blocked me. It was with the Mets.
I definitely rather have him than what's his name, Lucas Giolito from the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Imagine how many home runs Giolito's going to give up at Fenway. Oh my god.
Oh god.
It's going to be disastrous.
Karen, I had her on my show a couple times. She's a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
So I was like, when the Juan Soto trade went down, I was kind of poking fun at her a little bit. Yeah. And then when Alex Verdugo was traded to the Yankees, she loved him. It was like, I was kind of poking fun of her. And all of a sudden, they
just recently acquired Cheater Downs, which makes the Mookie Betts tweets worse and worse. It's so funny.
Yeah, Jeter Downs, one of the main prospects in Mookie Betts trade. Oh yeah, now he's a Yankee because
the only guy the Red Sox have left from the trade is, I believe, his name's Connor Wong. I think that's it.
Yeah. I mean that he's a throw-in. He wasn't even the main pieces. The main pieces were Verdugo.
Chaim Bloom first coming in for the Red Sox 2020, and the first thing he does is trade an all-star blockbuster guy Mookie Betts to another team. That's start. Brian Cashman trading Aaron Judge for a really worse player. You don't do that.
Yeah, I mean it was disastrous. But I don't think what's his face, Chaim Bloom, had a choice, because the owner told him I want to cut payroll. I'm not re-signing Mookie Betts.
Well, yeah, that's what the reason was. But it turns out they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything with it. It's just at least spending on good replacement players or whatever. Farm says, but no, they let Sander Bogarts walk, and it's what was the point of the trade then? If nothing,
it was just to cut payroll. Yeah, and that was all. And the owner kept the money. It wasn't like he put it back into the team.
Yeah, I mean, not even the Yankees would do that.
No, even though. So getting to Stroman, I tweeted this. I would like to congratulate Marcus Stroman and welcome him to the Yankees. However, he blocked me a couple of years ago when he was with the Mets. I made fun of him after a bad start, or it was. I'm pretty sure that was it. It was against the Yankees. Sorry about that. I'm sure you'll ball out, so. And then Indy tweets, he quote tweets, "Welcome to New York, Marcus. Unblocked this diehard Yankee. This Yankee diehard. I was both at Cohn's and Wells' perfect games. I wish I could have gone. I mean, I was in high school then. But yeah, I mean, he blocked me. I mean, that was, and then as soon as he became a Yankee, I checked and he's like, yeah, here it is. He still blocked me. I'm still blocked. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good deal. It's a solid deal for the Yankees. What was it? 2 years, 35 million, something like that.
37 million, I think.
Oh, 37, the exact number. Okay. Yeah. So they got him at 2 years, 37 million with an option for a third year, I believe. So, or a vesting option.
There has to be another pitching move where
there has to be.
Where they get like Snell or trade for.
There has to be.
What's his name? Corbin Burns or Dylan Cease. I think that's his name, Dylan Cease from the White Sox.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be another signing or something because there's no way.
It does look better, but I think there needs to be more.
Yeah, I mean, because right now the rotation is Garrett Cole, Carlos Rondon.
About Anthony Volpe.
This is I take back a lot of the hate from Marcus Stroman now. So he tweeted this, blah, blah, blah. And Marcus Stroman responds for some reason. Patrick, you're a loser. He hit his first home run in the big leagues. Something you'll never accomplish. Keep it down and keep your negativity back to your miserable life. Like, he has no reason to respond to any of this.
You keep it down.
he has no reason to respond to people, but he does, It's like,
yeah.
Like, he really doesn't, It's like a lot of celebrities and people, they don't respond. They don't respond at all, and it's like, where?
Oh, yeah, there's a bit of a clip that's going viral ever since Stroman signed the Yankees that, he struck out, I think it was last year, I think. He struck out Juan Soto, and he did that little dance, and Soto laughed about it, and now they're teammates. So.
Yeah. But he showed, he's a gamer, he's a baller, he's not going to be scared coming to the Yankees, like a lot of guys are, unfortunately. And he ain't going to be scared. Mm-hmm. He struck out Juan Soto and did his, dance there. And it's like, Soto, like, okay.
Moment, back in 2019, he was, this was when he was still with the Blue Jays. He made a start against the Red Sox at Fenway. He had a good start there. There was a point where he struck out one of the batters to end an inning. And after that, he was like, yeah. And then Dennis Eckersley, who was the commentator for Red Sox, he was like,
oh yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. I mean, it was, it's a lot of like these old school players, like they don't like that type of open celebration on the mound. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, I've been watching baseball since like the early 90s, and a lot of that, old school stuff is fine, but at the same time, it's like these guys are younger, they're gonna do that type of stuff, and I'm not gonna stop them.
Mm-hmm. I also think it's important for someone. For signing someone like Stroman, because he's a sinker ball pitcher, he's going to get a lot of ground balls. He's not going to give up a lot of home runs. So,
which is why he's a good fit. Yeah, because he's going to throw his sinker balls down. As long as his sinker balls are down, he's fine. Yeah. If they start coming up, there's going to be a problem.
I'm sure Matt Blake will figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, one of the best hirings Yankees have made recently was Matt Blake. Holy crap. I mean, the way he's turned pitchers into he's turned some pitchers into like holy shit, how is he good all of a sudden?
Under Larry Rothschild used to be that the Yankees were so good offensively, but they weren't as good.
Their pitching was.
But now with Matt Blake, their pitching's gotten much better, but their hitting's not as good. But now, 2024, it looks like their offense might get back on track. So we'll have to see. But,
well, with Soto, they're protecting Judge and Stanton. I would assume that the offense has to be better.
Yeah,
Marcus Stroman allowed the fewest home runs among NL pitchers at least 25 starts last season. Mm-hmm. 9 home runs in 25 starts, 136 innings.
Wow.
So that sinker ball is down. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to hit a home run off from even Yankee Stadium.
Now, I did read that he struggled at the second half of the season, but I heard that he had a really injury, so that was like the reason why when he came back, I guess he wasn't as good. But I'm not.
Yeah, he wasn't
right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was why did he block you, Angel? Well, because I criticized him after a bad start, and he had with the Mets a couple of years ago. When he was
He's
with the
blocked
Mets.
a lot of Yankee fans for
That's what the
not
joke,
even
the
the
running
worst
joke.
criticisms.
That's what the running joke is. I mean, he's blocked a lot of Yankee fans. You know, it's like when he signed here, it's like, okay, now time to unblock all these Yankee fans. You know, because I was one of them. You know, for some reason, I made fun of him for a bad start, and he didn't say anything to me. He just blocked me. You know, that was
And
it.
I responded to him in one of the tweets. It was a couple years ago. I said, you know, you hypocrite. You know, that WFAN reporter called you out. You know, for blocking people and all that. I don't remember what the exact tweet was, but I remember tweeting him about that. But he didn't block me, so you know, it's
I'm surprised. Yeah, that's not any criticism. You know, I just turned off my camera. All right, here we go. But yeah, I mean, any criticism, he usually blocks you. So like, for some reason, all right. So he pitched in 27 games and made 25 starts. Okay, he was 10-9 with 3.95 ERA, 1.6 WAR. I mean, those numbers are kind of skewed because of the rib injury, but he was dominant in the first half. I mean, he made All-Star team. Just at the second half, get rid of that. The second half, he kind of struggled because of his injury.
Oh yeah, you know Ben Verlander, right?
Yeah,
I still
do.
can't believe. I'm sure you heard he made that after Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers. He said it's the most important sign in Dodgers history, and I'm like, hello, Jackie Robinson. You're just gonna leave him out? And
I can't believe. Yeah,
on him like what are you talking about? Jackie Robinson's the most important Dodgers signing, but Ben hasn't responded. He hasn't apologized. He hasn't what are you doing? Like you're not going to even respond. That you're going to stand by that. What an asshole! Not even his brother would agree with him.
No, I mean he's hiding because clearly he screwed up. So I was like, okay, let me hide.
I mean, how much more dick does he have to? How much more Ohtani's dick does he have to suck?
Yeah, Ohtani is one of the you want to say in current era, in today's era, he might be the most important signing in Dodgers, and recently, but not in history.
I mean, if you're talking about, last, I don't know, 20 years or whatever amount of years, okay, sure. But of all time, no.
It ignores Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like sacrilege. Like, you
I
can't.
mean, he admitted that he was wrong and all that stuff. I would respect him, but the fact he hasn't responded, that he hasn't said anything about that, that's not a good look. Like, what are you doing?
No, definitely. I mean, it's just awful. These are his projections for next season. Hold on. He's projected to go 8-9 with a 3.89 ERA. 141 innings, 120 hits.
I think he's going to get more wins.
Yeah, I don't know how they calculate these projections, but I think it's a little absurd. 8-9 in Yankee Stadium with that offense next season. He has to get more wins than 8. 8-9 at 3.89 ERA. I'm fine with that. If he gets a 3.89. One save. How's he gonna get a save? He's a starter.
Maybe if he had to come out of the bullpen after a start or whatever, he had to. Maybe the bullpen,
maybe that's how he gets it. But 141 innings pitched. Go ahead.
Hopefully, Garrett Cole can have as good, if not better, of a season like he did last year. And obviously, the Yankees need Carlos Rodon to step up big. Obviously,
they need him big.
Yeah,
because
that last start he had against the Royals, that was awful.
Yeah, he looked washed up.
Yeah, but I think what started, he had an injury before he was able to start in the season. I think.
Yeah, he did. He missed the first half. I think it was a back injury.
Yeah, or whatever it was.
It was a back injury.
Healthy, as long as he fixes his mechanics, I think he can get back to how he was. How he was the two seasons before he was a Yankee.
Yeah, in San Francisco. Yeah, I mean,
and Chicago.
I'm like, Chicago. I'm like, Yeah, I mean, he looked washed up last season. I was like, oh no, he's in year 1 of a 6-year contract or whatever it is. I mean, if he's washed up, I mean, hopefully, I don't think he is, but he looked washed up at least in that last start. Like he couldn't throw the ball over the plate, and if he did, it was blasted, So he wasn't missing any bats, and it was just awful.
It was pretty cool though. He had that start against the Red Sox at the end of the season. He only went like 5+ innings or something, but he recorded like 9 strikeouts. That's like one of his good starts.
One of his own, yeah. At least he managed to do that. But yeah, I mean, 128 hits, 68 runs. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see, his WHIP will be 1.2, strikeout per 9.8. I mean, if this is what his season ended up for the Yankees, I'd be fine with it, even though he probably get more wins.
Yeah.
But I'd be fine with a 3.89 because he's not the ace. He's going to be a third or fourth starter, depending of how he slots in before the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a sinker baller. He's going to get a lot of ground balls, So if it ends up being a 3.89 ERA, 140 innings pitched, I'm fine with that.
And thankfully, it looks like the Miguel Herman is gone.
Well, here's the thing with him. I mean, he pitched a perfect game in Oakland. I mean, but people might say, well, it's Oakland, but still, I mean, I mean, I know Oakland's like a Double-A team at this point, but still, I mean, they're still impressive.
Yeah,
like, how do you know?
Yeah, but still, like, he's been a bit of a train wreck,
Yeah, I mean, there are times where he comes out and looks like the best pitcher in baseball. The other
times, not even that. It's just like his alcohol problems, and he also had that
domestic violence,
that abusive wife situation.
Yeah, the domestic violence thing was
and
bad.
He also got caught cheating, using what was it, the sticky stuff?
Yeah, I mean, he was warned about it in the start.
Yeah.
And then in the next start, he used it again.
Twins, and then he did it again.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get thrown out then. I mean, he was warned about it, and I think the Twins manager got ejected because like, why didn't you throw him out? So blah blah blah. But then he got thrown out in his next start. I'm like, oh no, because not only you get a 10-game suspension, but you lose that roster spot, so you can't replace him in the rotation. So it's like, oh yeah, what a disaster.
And one other thing that kind of ridiculous, I'm sure you heard about what's his name, Harrison Bader. He just recently signed with the Mets.
Yeah.
The one thing, I didn't see the clip, but I read the tweet. He said, he said something like that. I'm really excited to be with the Mets. This couldn't be a better team for me to join, or something like. I don't remember what he said. Like. But back in 2022, when he joined the Yankees, he was like, the Yankees look perfect for me. I was born to be a Yankee and all that stuff. But then he goes to the Mets, like, no, the Mets are my team,
Well, that's because the Yankees at that point were paying him, and I get it because I don't see him. He wasn't a lifelong Yankee fan. He was like, oh yeah, I'm traded to New York to the Yankees. Yeah, I mean, I love it here. Oh, the Yankees released me or didn't re-sign me. Oh, fuck them. They're pieces of shit. I mean, the Mets are not where it's at.
Yeah.
So, but I hated that deal when they brought him in for Nick. I mean, what's his name? Jordan Montgomery. Oh, that was awful. I'm like, what?
Well, but I understood the trade. I mean, even before he was traded, I was thinking, considering he wasn't pitching that great, I was wondering if they were going to trade him. And I mean, he's a good pitcher, but. I don't see, I don't know why people are such a big fan of Jordan Montgomery. It's not like, he's good, but I mean, I think people are really hyping him more than they should.
He pitched well. He was pretty dominant in the postseason, though.
Yeah,
so
but
I mean, probably.
But I just don't know if he would keep that success with the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean that he was like one of the major reasons why the Rangers became champions last year. Yeah. But at the same time, can he keep that up on a 6-year, $100+ million contract that he might get?
Yeah. He doesn't deserve it. No way.
Somebody will pay him because they're desperate for pitching, So it's like
I mean, if the Yankees bring him back, then fine. I'll be okay with it. But I just, he
can't be
he doesn't deserve a contract like that.
if you do Stroman, Montgomery, and that's it with the rotation we have, like it's okay, but you also need bullpen help because we don't have a closer still.
Yeah,
Even
there's
though
talks
people,
they could possibly get Josh Hader, possibly. I think we
that's
even
been
discussed that before, but
yeah,
I don't
that's been
know.
a rumor for a few years now.
But I don't know if he'd be comfortable shaving his beard and cutting his hair. I don't know if he'd be okay with that. So
Yeah, he's probably not going to be, and
mhm,
that's kind of an issue because the Yankees still have that
mhm,
no beard policy during the season.
mhm.
You can't even have a goatee. All you can have really is just a mustache.
Yeah, well, you can have a mustache. Yeah.
But that's such initially I was like, yeah, I mean, we're the Yankees. You have to shave to come here, blah, blah, blah. Now players today don't care. They're not going to shave to come here
Yeah.
because they don't really see that Yankee mystique anymore. But what older players saw, when I was a kid at least, they don't
Mhm.
see the Yankees as mystique and I got to come to New York. No. Whoever pays the most money, I'm going. Or if I don't have to shave my beard and hair, I'm going there. I don't care about the Yankees. I'm not impressed. So yeah, so they're gonna have to probably back on that rule at some point
Mhm.
and allow that. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the Stroman signing, even though he blocked me. And I wish him nothing but the best. I mean, I think he'll be good here as
Mhm.
long as he keep that sinker ball down because he's not a fastball thrower. He's not gonna do a 98. He's
No.
like Garrett Cole. And talking about Garrett Cole, you brought him up earlier, but I don't see him. How is he going to have that type of season again? Yes, he's going to be great. He's going to be dominant, but
Well,
that
I
type of
mean, I think he's going to have a great season. Like, will he be quite as good as he did last year? I don't know, but I mean, I think he'll
yeah,
have another Cy Young type season again.
yeah, he will. But will he be? He's due for some regression. I'm not talking about a ton of regression, but
Right.
some.
Yeah.
It's like he's going to be fine. I mean, he's
I
going to
just
be
hope he
the
can
age.
pitch better against the Red Sox because that's kind of been his nemesis.
Yeah, his issues, the Red Sox, and who doesn't have many pitches? Stroman, you talking about, or somebody else? Nick Riviera. Who are you talking about? Because Stroman has a sinker ball and he does have a four seamer, but it's
Yeah.
like in the low 90s.
Um,
And I don't know what the pitches he has because I don't
I
really
know he
follow
has a
him much.
changeup,
A
uh,
changeup.
maybe even a two
Yeah.
seamer, possibly.
So
Yeah,
yeah, referring to Stroman. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean he has three pitches,
mhm.
but he's not really a strikeout pitcher either. I mean, so he's more like a contact ground ball pitcher, which I'm fine with, even though I love the strikeout and strike through it.
Oh yeah, and
It's like
also there have been talks about Yankees possibly bringing back Gio Urshela.
yes. Well, we need a third baseman.
Considering Brian Cash, remember he said we appreciate everything Gio Urshela did, but he's no Josh Donaldson.
Oh God, I hated that trade. I hated that Donaldson trade. Yes, you didn't have to. And we got to get rid of Gary Sanchez. He sucks. Okay, fine. Why don't you just non-tender him, release him? You didn't
Mhm,
have to make that move to
mhm,
eat $50 million of Donaldson's contract for what?
mhm.
They really thought he's going to be the 2015 MVP. Donaldson is like he couldn't
I
have
don't think
thought
they were
that.
gonna, and I don't think they were gonna think he was gonna bring that form back. I think it was because the previous year he did pretty good, even though he had some injuries. But I think he had over 20 home runs, and it was with the Twins that year. I think that's what they were expecting.
Yeah,
But
that maybe, but I didn't see it. It was like he's 36, 37 at that point, and I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I don't like that deal. And on top of that, they traded Urshela. Okay, I mean he's a nice player, but it was ultimately, he was replacement level. He wasn't like he was a star. So.
Well, I mean, he was really good, especially
Yeah, he was
2019.
good. Mhm.
But it'd just be really funny if Brian Cashman decided to bring it back after what he said.
But
That would be hilarious.
oh yeah, Gio, what I said about you, I'm sorry, man. Would you like to come back? I mean, we'll give you a 1-year deal, for a few million. Just come back, until
I
we
don't think
can
it'd
get
even
a
be a 1 year. I think it'd be like a 2 year deal, maybe.
well, I mean, Yeah, I mean, if he really wanted to push it, like as well, I want 2 years. I mean, I don't, or at the very least, some sort of option where if I get X amount of at bats, then it kicks in, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I like him. He's a nice player, even though he's a few years
Yeah.
older now. But
Mm-hmm.
but at this, I'm like, oh, so what are we gonna do about because there's too many infielders. Who's gonna play third base? You have Glaber at second. You have Volpe at short. You have Rizzo at first, and
Yeah.
LeMahieu is running around like, what's he gonna do? Play third base? He's like a year older now. I don't know if I'm comfortable him being the everyday third baseman.
Yeah, that 6-year extension they gave to LeMahieu starting to look bad now. I mean, I was for it because of the 2 seasons he had. I was glad they re-signed him for that contract, but now doesn't look like he's going to return to that form. The first 2 years he had.
No, I mean at this point it's like I don't know. I mean at the time I was like, okay, 6 years, 7 years. I'm like, he's gonna be nearly 40 by the time it expires.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be as good as he was at the back end of that contract, and it's like, oh, like 7.
Maybe they'll find a way to trade him. Maybe he won't complete his tenure with the Yankees. Maybe they'll trade him at some point, like they did with Donaldson.
Well, yeah, I mean they released Donaldson.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, they released him. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right before the end of the year, they DFA'd him, and he was gone. He didn't wait to the end of the year. But he was injured anyway, so I don't know. DFA him. It was more like oh yeah, Yankee fans, you were right. I'm sorry. So let's get rid of him now for the end of the season. So that's what it seemed like. Like you had Brian Cashman kind of like, oh yeah, you were right. Let me DFA him now before the season's over, so fans will see it. I'm admitting, I was wrong. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I would consider trading Glaber for a starter and then put LeMahieu back at second. And maybe bring back Urshela at third, just
I'd rather have Glaber at this point. I mean, LeMahieu's not as good as he was earlier with the Yankees. I think, Glaber, he's not quite as good as it was like in 2019, but I still prefer him over LeMahieu as long as he, can correct his laziness that he's had at some points. With the Yankees.
I mean, that's why I'm kind of tired of him. He's in, his final year, and it's like, you're not going to re-sign him. You might as well move him for something, because I don't think they'll sign him. Like he's going to demand $100 million bare minimum on the market because he's above average. He's above average player. So, and Major League Baseball, there's certain teams that overpay for talent like that. Look at the Tigers; they spent a ton of money on Javier Baez, and he's been awful since he's been there.
Oh my god!
So it's like
said everything. It's awful.
He signed him for what, 150 million, and was like, oh wow, that's a massive overpay. Yeah, that was a massive overpay because if you look at his numbers, he's like a strikeout machine. And he's playing in Comerica Park, one of the biggest ballparks in baseball. I mean, that's a disastrous signing. He's not going to get many home runs. He's not going to field well. He's going to strike out a ton. So I'm like, what are they thinking? It's like, oh yeah, let's just get a star so we can put asses in seats. That's what it seemed like that signing was. Yeah. Because he won a championship in Chicago, so, and he was on the cover of the video game, so he was, he had a certain look. He was kind of a star. So so like, okay, let's just sign him, even though he sucks. He's probably going to suck, and let's put asses in seats until we get better. But the Tigers weren't good last year either, so it was like.
So what do you think of the NFL postseason starting tomorrow? What do you think of the teams?
Interesting. I don't know because I mean I've seen the playoff teams. Who in the playoffs? And I forget.
Ravens, the 49ers.
Okay.
The Packers, Rams, Lions, Chiefs, of course, Dolphins, Bills.
I mean, it's going to be a fun one, but you might see probably the Ravens and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game because to me, the two best teams.
To me, I would probably pick the Ravens as maybe the team to beat. As long as they don't have that disastrous postseason like they did in 2019, 2020 when they were 14-2, but lost to the Titans in the divisional round. So
See, that's the thing about the NFL. Just because you're 14-2 doesn't mean you're gonna have a long playoff run.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 1-game playoff, so anything can happen. It's like, oh yeah, we're 14-2. We got beat by an average football team. Though, like that sucks. It's a waste of a year when you go 14-2 and then you get beat by some mediocre team out of nowhere. It happened to the Patriots in 2000 against the Giants. That's one of my favorite Super Bowls. I'm a Giants fan, so it was like, they beat the Patriots when they were 18-0. That's right. They were 18-0. Yeah, they were going for the perfect season.
4 years later.
Hey, thank you for joining me here. But yeah, I mean, they were, and then the Giants beat them again in 2011. I mean, Peyton Manning. I'm confusing Mannings. Eli Manning was. Yeah, Eli Manning was the Brady killer. He beat him twice in Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, Peyton, his brother also dominated against Brady.
Yeah. He beat him in an AFC Championship game one year.
Yeah.
So yeah, both brothers did really well against Brady, who to me is arguably the greatest quarterback of all time.
I wonder who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Giants next season. I mean, is it really going to be Daniel Jones?
I don't see it, honestly. I mean, he had another bad year, or he was okay, but he got injured again.
He had a good year the year before, but it was disastrous.
Which is what he earned that $40 million a year contract. I was like, when they re-signed him,
and I'm glad the Giants are keeping Brian Daboll because he wasn't the reason why the Giants.
No. The last 3 or 4 coaches have been fired after 2 seasons.
They've gone through a 2-year cycle of firing coaches. I don't want that to happen again with Daboll.
After Coughlin left.
Yeah, if you give Daboll a good team, I think you can do well.
Yeah, I mean, he did well in his first year, so it wasn't like, so it wasn't like after Coughlin was McAdoo. Fired, he's disaster, gone after 2. He should have been gone. Yeah. Then it was who? Shermer? Shermer, again, another disaster. Gone after 2 years, and he needed to be gone.
And then we thought Joe Judge was the guy. Remember his press conference?
Joe Judge. Dude. And like Gettleman hired Joe. I'm like, who?
Yeah.
What, he's Belichick's special teams
press
coach?
conference, he was like, oh my God, he looks to be the perfect coach. But then we saw what happened.
I don't know. I just see it. He was way too young, and I didn't buy it. I saw the press conference. I was like, he's bullshitting. I mean, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's way too young for this job. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I mean, but he's way too soon for his first head coaching job. And it was obvious. By year 2, he didn't know what to do. Was lost and confused.
Yeah.
You can see in his face that he was done.
Yeah.
So they fired him. He went back to New England, I believe. But
they did. I don't know if he's still with New England, but I remember he went back to them.
Yeah, he did go back. He might have ended up being the special quarterbacks coach or something. I saw.
I don't know if he's still. I don't know. If
I don't.
But
I'm sure you saw Belichick left the Patriots after about 24 years or something.
We have a new head coach now. I don't remember.
Jerome Mayo. He played for the Patriots. He played for Belichick. He was a coach, and they immediately hired him. Like he was a favor. It's like Jerome Mayo. I mean, he's. I don't know much about him as a coach, but he was a nice player in the NFL.
People saying they thought they were going to hire. Who is it? Brian Babel, or whatever his name is. Not Brian. The Titans
Mike
coach.
Babel. Mike Babel. Yeah.
They thought they were going to hire him.
They went in-house. They just hired one of Belichick's assistants to replace him. And the Patriots were awful this year. I mean, I understand why him and Robert Kraft kind of agreed that he needed to go. I mean, they were awful last season. I mean, 4-13? I mean, it's like the worst record.
They went from a dynasty to now a nothing team. It's so crazy.
And it started when Brady left.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Belichick's ego.
It wasn't Belichick that, what was the Patriots. It was Brady.
Mm-hmm. And we found out because we didn't know. It's like some people are like, oh, it's Belichick. He's the genius. He's the hoodie, etc. Some people said it was Brady. Like it wasn't for him, there's nothing happening. And honestly, I thought, it's probably Brady. I mean, come on. I mean, he's the one out there, throwing the football. He's the one out there, with the audibles and stuff. He's the one, he was the walking head coach. essentially out there. He put guys in the right spot to succeed,
Yeah.
And Belichick happened to be the head coach. I mean, I'm not saying he's terrible. He's great. I mean, he's a great coach, but ultimately, it was Brady. And as soon as he left, you could tell. I mean, the team was mediocre at first, and then this season they were just atrocious. It's
Well,
like
the second season, they made the postseason, but then they got destroyed against the Bills in that wild card game.
Yeah, that was
like they shouldn't have made the postseason.
Oh no, they definitely shouldn't have. I mean, it was an absolute disaster. And then this season was just a train wreck. I mean, it was like 4-13 or whatever. It was like
I remember when they went 0-2. Fans would be like, "Oh, it's just how it was in 2001. They were 0-2, then they won the Super Bowl." I was like, "No, it's not happening. It's not happening."
No. I think Patriots fans were more like they were, hopeful. It's like, oh yeah, no, we went 0-2 year one, and
I mean, I would be hopeful too, but
year
even
two,
I know that it wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, it was year 2. Year 1 was arguably the Belichick, worst season until this season, of course. Then year 2, they were 0-2, and then came back to
Belichick's first season wasn't when they first won the Super Bowl.
I'm pretty sure it was the second season that they won a Super Bowl. Yeah, because when he got hired, he literally just left the Jets because I'm not sure you remember this, but
I thought he was with the Browns, or was he?
Yeah, he was the head coach of the Browns in the mid '90s or early to mid '90s, and he got fired and went back to work for Belichick. I'm sorry, Parcells, when Parcells was the head coach of the Jets. So Parcells resigns, and they named Belichick the head coach. About a few hours later, he comes out with like a napkin and he resigns. Like, oh yeah, I resigned as head coach of the Jets, and he goes to New England immediately. And he's a part of the greatest dynasty in NFL history. So like, I'm sure Jets fans are pulling their hair out because it's like, oh well, we could have had him, but I don't think they would.
Fan.
Yeah, not either. But it's like I don't think they would have won as many Super Bowls because they wouldn't have had Brady at that point. So, but I digress. That's ancient history. But now Belichick wants to coach again. He wanted to coach. He wants to coach next season.
Yeah.
So I think the Falcons. Obviously, every team that has a vacancy would love to have
possibly. Maybe
would love to have Belichick. Either the Titans, the Falcons, whoever has a vacancy.
They just
let go, they not fired, but they got rid of Pete Carroll. I think I saw that he's going to keep a job in the organization though.
Yeah. Or maybe he goes to the Falcons. They just fired their coach.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. Like the Falcons are the favorites to hire him for some reason. I was like, would he really go to Atlanta? Maybe, but like what an irony that would be, because Bill Belichick and Tom Brady humiliated the Falcons in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Oh, 28-3, we won. It's over. Oh shit, Brady and Belichick.
Remember Brady almost did the same thing against the Rams. They were down 27-3. They tied it. He almost did it again.
Yeah, I mean, he humiliated the Falcons, and now they're going to bring in the guy that humiliated their team in the Super Bowl. I don't know how Falcons fans would react to that, but
I don't know if that would really be. I think it would be. I think they were more pissed off with their team, how they performed in the second half.
Well, that was a disaster. I mean, they were one team in the first half, and the second half they were like they choked. It's like the coaching staff, the players, they all went like, and then Brady did what Brady does, and they lost the Super Bowl when they should have won. What they should have done is keep doing what they were doing in the first half.
Yeah,
Patriots couldn't stop him anyways, but it was like, nope. Let's get cute. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's keep throwing the ball, even though we should run the football and run the clock out. But let's get cute and throw the football for no reason and stop the clock. Then let me throw a brutal interception. Towards the end of the game, it's like, that was a disaster for the. But yeah, I don't.
You think of the interception? I think you're thinking about the one against the Seahawks, because how the Patriots won against the Falcons was that overtime touchdown.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of the interception in the fourth quarter, which led to another touchdown, which eventually tied the game.
Yeah.
But it was a brutal one because who was the quarterback? Was it Matt Ryan?
Matt Ryan.
Yes, he threw like a brutal pass where he was off his back foot and kind of did that, floated in the air. I'm like, oh no, it's interception. Yep, there it is. Because you never throw a lob pass like that, because anybody can just run up and like, oh, there you go. Unless you're Eli Manning, then that works for him.
Yeah.
Because if you remember that Super 42, he threw that lob pass in the middle of the field, which should have been picked off, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, what is he doing?
Oh, you mean when that defensive Patriots guy when he dropped the interception when he should have caught that one?
That one, but I'm talking about the one.
Yeah, the catch. Yeah,
the Tyree catch, which he ended up putting on his helmet, which is like
and of course,
a legendary moment
from Joe Buck.
that Eli on the run. What was it? I
caught by Tyree.
And I was like, there was no passion. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I mean, that was like one of the greatest moments in Super Bowl history.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Manning stays on his feet, throws the ball down the field, and is caught by Tyree. He's like about to fall asleep. I mean, it was an awful call, Yeah. Even you go back and watch. I remember the call because it's, it was infamously bad, and that moment was great. So that's why I can pretty much recite his call on that catch.
To be fair, Joe Buck has gotten better in commentary over the years, but still.
Yeah, I mean, he's at ESPN now, Monday Night Football, but which surprised, him and Aikman took tens of millions of dollars from ESPN. I mean, it was like, but why would you pay commentators that much money? I mean, they're not the stars of the show; it's the field. And Joe Buck's a boring commentator too. On top of that, so it's not like they hired Kevin Harlan or someone like that from basketball. No, they hired Joe Buck. It was like, touchdown 49ers. It's like they didn't go to sleep. So yeah, I mean, it's not in it, but yeah, you get. I digress. But what time is it? I mean, I can go a few more minutes. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think the Super Bowl. Who made the playoffs in the NFC? I know not the Giants. I mean, God.
The Eagles, the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys.
Who else? The Packers.
Yeah, you mentioned the Packers.
The Rams. I don't know if I said 49ers yet, but 49ers.
Yeah.
And is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Here, Dolphins. Wait, no, that's the AFC. Packers, Cowboys. Yeah, Eagles, Buccaneers.
Oh,
those are the wild card teams.
Lions.
Yeah, and the Lions. Wait, the Lions had a first round bye or wild card bye?
Third round. Or it's a third round. Or well, no, they don't. No, because they play in the wild card game. They're playing against.
Yeah, I see it here. I didn't see it. That's why Lions and Rams. Yeah. So
the only team that get the bye are the Ravens and the 49ers.
Mm-hmm. So to me, the two best teams are the Ravens and the Chiefs, but they're both in the same conference. So one of them's got to make the Super Bowl.
I would think the Ravens and the 49ers is the best teams because the Chiefs. I mean, yeah, I definitely wouldn't count them out, but I mean, they're not as good as they were in years past. So
no. So it's basically the Patrick Mahomes show out there,
and I couldn't believe that game. I think it was against the Bills. Yeah, it was against the Bills where it looked like the Chiefs made that great touchdown play, but then one of the right receivers was too far past the the line of scrimmage or whatever, and there was a penalty called. And then Patrick Mahomes made a big deal against the refs, like they thought the refs screwed. Like, no, that was the right call.
That was the right call.
He made such a big deal. I'm like, imagine if Brady was like that.
Yeah, he kind of had a meltdown there for no.
Yeah, it's like no, that was the right call.
It for no reason.
If the play was, but no, you can't do that.
It was not good. And then he melted down, and like tried to yell at the refs, like, yeah, your team fucked up. It sucks.
Of course,
but
you got the drama, or not the drama, but the whatever you call it with Taylor Swift and who's that player right now? I can't remember. Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Also, Mr. Pfizer man, or whatever you want to call him.
I don't want to bring up the jab, but yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. And yeah, I mean, like it's just drama, with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Patrick Mahomes show, and this drama off the field. Then the 49ers. So my two picks for the Super Bowl. I mean, the Cowboys again. I would be hilarious. Like,
I mean, they could
I don't
win
want-
the wild card game, but I don't think. They have to prove to us they can win the divisional round this time, because I want to see Stephen A. Smith cook their asses yet again.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Another year down the drain for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Look, here's the Cowboys. Like, Jerry Jones builds good football teams because he's still his own GM.
I mean, they're good regular season teams, but the postseason is just they
like,
can't.
it's not like it's not like he's out of touch. I mean, he still builds good football teams as a GM, but he's his own GM. But ultimately, they haven't even made it to the NFC Championship game since '96, I think.
95 or 96.
It was. They won a Super Bowl, I think, in
95 or one of those years. Yeah,
I think the 49ers won.
That span, they won 3 Super Bowls. Is that correct?
They won 3 Super Bowls in a 4-year period, and then they won again in '97-ish, something like that. So they won 3.
No, I think the Packers won the Super Bowl that time. 96, 97.
Let me see something. We could, instead of guessing, we could actually know. So, winners. I know they won 3 in the 90s. It's list of Super Bowl champions. Let's see, the 90s. Here we go. The Giants.
So, I don't know if you saw one of my tweets from last night. Jimmy Dore posted a tweet about what happened in Yemen and said, see, all these things they said about Trump, Biden's doing. You saw that tweet, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you saw my response posting that Sam Cedar clip. I was saying Sam Cedar really looks stupid now. I don't know if you saw my response there.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dore just liked my response there, so that's pretty funny.
Cool. Yeah, he likes some of my tweets too. I'm just hoping one day he would, click that follow button, because I would literally just fanboy moment there.
Yeah, he follows me, so.
Oh, that's cool. He follows you. Wow. Yeah, the Giants, 49ers won. Wait, the Giants won in 90. The Redskins, Cowboys won in 93, 94. The 49ers won in 95, and the Cowboys won in 96.
Okay.
So it was 96 the last time they made the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been there since.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of failures for the Cowboys. And they were
just go watch your name trees videos, about the Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, he does great work with his videos.
He just released a video today previewing the entire postseason.
Yeah, he usually does, and he does it in a hilarious way. But yeah, I mean, so
my favorite part from your trees when he talks about the Mets, changes his voice tone. He's like, "Here's a Mets, all the bad things, all that stuff."
The Lowell Mets.
The Lowell Mets.
I was like and loving the Mets when they signed Lindor, and when the billionaire, I forget his name, bought the team.
Steve Cohen.
Yeah, Steve Cohen. They were like, "Oh, Lowell Mets is over, man. We spent all this money, and we're good." Yeah, they had $300 million payroll. They brought in and washed up Verlander, washed up Scherzer. They brought in all these guys. They didn't know they were washed up at the time, but
and they thought they were getting Correa, but that fell through.
Yeah, that whole Correa thing was a disaster in that free agency. It was like, the Giants got him 13 years, $350. Oh, his ankle's horrible shape. So
at first, I roasted the Giants when they let him go. When I saw the ankle injury, I was like, "You're releasing him because of an ankle injury from 2014." But then when I see the Mets releasing him, I'm like, "Oh,
yeah, okay. It's worse. It's worse than we imagined."
I guess the Giants know what they were doing then.
Yeah, because they backed out. They had the press conference scheduled. They were like, "Oh yeah, we got Correa, blah blah blah." Oh shit! It turns out that his ankle's in horrible
it's a good
shape.
thing because that contract they gave him, that was a bad contract. What was it? 13 years or whatever, over 300.
Yeah, 350 million, 13 years. It
That was
was
a
going to
bad
be
contract. I think it was a good thing they did that because it was
a massive deal, but
don't
in
think-
their minds, it was like we need a superstar. We need somebody to build around.
yeah.
So, here's Correa. So I was like, okay, let's give him all the money. Oh, his ankle's in horrible shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not do this. Let's right. They canceled the press conference right before.
Yeah.
Correa had the uniform on and everything, and they canceled the press conference on him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was like, and then he went to the Mets for 325, and it's like, oh, same thing.
Yeah.
So the Twins gave him 200 million, which was it's a lot of money, but not 350 he's supposed to get. So that's a disaster.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping to God that Soto resigns long term.
Yeah, I hope so too. You have to think he will. I don't think the Yankees would make that big of a trade, and then they just gave him $31 million in their arbitration. That would be shocking if they don't resign him. He seems like the next guy for the Yankees.
He's only 25. Judge isn't going to be around.
He's one of my favorite players, Juan Soto. He's
I mean, his personality is fantastic, and he's a beast. He helped the National League Championship at 19.
Mm-hmm.
He's a teenager still when he led the National League Championship over the Astros, which I loved. It's like, I was happy when Soto won a championship because it's 19. And the kid just completely balled out in that World Series.
Just don't perform in the home run derby. Just don't do that.
I'm starting to hate the home run derby. Real quick before
I don't hate it, but it's just I just don't want the Yankees to win.
As a kid, I loved it, and and it was great. As an adult, I look at it like, as long as the Yankee players don't participate, I'm fine with it. It doesn't matter, it's like it's just a nice thing for the fans. But Judge participated in his rookie year, and he struggled in the second half due to injury.
Yeah.
I think he hurt himself.
I think it's September he performed again. He had a lot of home runs in September that year. He still had a really amazing year.
It was still a great year, but he kind of struggled after that.
But no, as it turns out, he definitely should have won MVP that year. I understood Altuve winning it that year, but after what happened, 2017,
that pissed me off because it was like, especially once that the allegations of cheating, because I had a feeling that they were cheating. I mean, even watching that postseason run they had, they were great at home. They were fantastic at home, and they were awful on the road.
Well, same with the Yankees. They were great at home, but they weren't great on the road. So
but I looked at they were the Astros. When you compare the numbers, it was night and day.
No, I agree. I agree.
It was weird. It was like, what the hell's going on here? Like they were catching up to pitches, which I was like, how the hell are they hitting these balls? And then they go to the Yankee Stadium and they look like a average baseball team. Like they shouldn't even be there.
That's those still 3 games that year where we thought maybe the Yankees were going to win that series, but
imagine them getting. They would. I think. I mean, again, as a Yankee fan, I think they would have beat the Dodgers and won that championship.
I don't think so, but whatever.
But it doesn't matter. It already happened, that World Series. But Girardi would still be here if they won that championship. I don't care what Brian Cashman said. Oh, we're going to let him go no matter what. No. You don't let go a manager who led a team to the World Series, especially a team that wasn't even supposed to be there.
But now when you look at Joe Girardi now, he's not very. He doesn't look like he's very good anymore. So
no, the game may have passed him by at this point.
Yeah,
I do agree with that. Everything happens for a reason, I guess. But Boone isn't it either. So I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, we talked about Boone before. I mean, he's been out coached or out managed in every big series he's had in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to wrap up now. I want to thank you for coming on again and joining me this week. And thank the audience here. I guess most of them disappeared, but yeah, I want to thank you guys for coming on and hanging out with us. I hope you guys have a happy new year or had a happy new year. I did. And I'm going to see you guys probably next week with another guest, and we'll be talking more current events and shit. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
You too.
All right, you too.